Hi guys, welcome back. This is Pure Crochets. Thank you for stopping by. It's been a minute. I've been busy with orders, but we are back to tutorials. On today's tutorial, we are creating this beautiful dress with fringes at the bottom. This can be all weather dress. You can wear it during winter and just put a coat on top during summer and during autumn. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm hoping you'll enjoy this tutorial. Kindly subscribe, like and share this video with your friends, and let's get started with the tutorial. We are using 100% milk cotton yarn. You can use any other brand that you have. This is 50 grams and I use 10 of this. You'll need a step measure, stitch markers, a pair of scissors, and to crochet we are using a 4.5 mm hook to crochet. All right, so let's get with the work. So guys, we are starting to work from the shoulder area all the way to the bottom. Kindly take your shoulder to shoulder measurements and then we will begin from there. Please note, if your bust area is big, we will increase on the bust area and the stomach area, but take your shoulder to shoulder area and then we are chaining as long as your shoulder to shoulder area is. For my size, I chained up to 17 inches. All right, so just doing chains all the way to your shoulder to shoulder measurements, then I will meet you once you're done. I am done, and this is how my work looks like. As I said, my shoulder measurements is 17 inches long. All right, so let's just double check that to make sure it's perfect. But mark you, this kind of stitch really stretches, so you can see it stretches all the way to 20, so it has a good stretch, this kind of yarn that I use. So let's go to the next step. We're now going to do double crochets, yarn over, skip 2 stitches from the hook, and on the third stitch you go in with a double crochet like this, and we will do double crochets across all the stitches that you have, and I will meet you at the end of this row. Mark you, we're just doing a row of double crochets in each stitch. Guys, I'm done with my first row of double crochets, and this is how my work looks. And now we want to begin the pattern. We are using the V stitch. Kindly chain 3, turn your work around, and chain 3 here acts as a stitch. All right, go in the same stitch as chain 3 and make a double crochet in the same space. All right, and that marks our first V stitch. So yarn over, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and on the third stitch we are going in with a double crochet like this. Then you chain 1, yarn over, go in the same space and make another double crochet. All right, so this is how we create the V stitches. So yarn over, skip 2 stitches, go on the third stitch, make a double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, go in the same space with another double crochet, yarn over, skip 2 stitches, go in the third stitch, make a double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, go in the same space with a double crochet. And we are working like this until the end of the row. I will meet you at the end. I'm almost at the end and my work has 4 chains left, so I just skipped 2. On the third I went in with a V-stitch, and on the last stitch here I will just do a normal double crochet and then continue with my work. If your work ends with a V-stitch, perfect, but if you have 1 stitch left like me, just go in with a normal double crochet, which is only 1 double crochet like this, and then you chain 3 to begin a new row. Turn your work, and remember this chain 3 acts as a stitch, so it acts as the first stitch on this line here. As you can see, there's 1 chain here, so skip that, just go to the next V-stitch and make a V-stitch, and we are making V-stitch in the chain 1 space. All right, inside the chain 1 space is where we are making V-stitches, and remember a V-stitch is a double crochet, a chain 1 and another double crochet. So that's how we are working. We are creating V-stitches in the chain 1 space, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Guys, I'm at the end here, and at the end here it ends with a V-stitch. So chain 3, turn your work, yarn over, and in this first V-stitch here we'll just go in with 1 double crochet because the chain 3 acts as a stitch. Remember, my work is different. On this side it ends with a V-stitch, on the other side it ends with a double crochet. I hope you note this difference, but if your work ends with a V-stitch on both sides, just do V-stitches on both sides. So chain 3 acts as a stitch. That means go in the first V-stitch there with only 1 double crochet, and then you continue with V-stitches across all the stitches that you have. And this is the pattern. We are going to work V-stitches until your work reaches your stomach area. Please note, if your bust area is so big, you'll have to do increases on your bust area, but my bust area is 34 and my work stretches all the way to 20, you saw, so that means it's perfect for my bust area and my stomach area. All right, so if your work doesn't stretch as much, you'll have to increase in the bust area, and if you have a bigger stomach, you'll also have to increase on the stomach area. But if your work stretches all the way to your bust measurements and your stomach measurements, you're good to go until we hit our hips measurements. All right, please note we're just doing V-stitches all the way until your hips area. That's when we will do increases. And I'm at this other side of my work. Remember, this side we always end with a double crochet. So this is my V-stitch here, chain 1, go in with another double crochet, and this side we always finish with a double crochet at the end. Please make sure you do that, otherwise your work will not be straight. Okay, so as you can see, my work is straight, so I will chain 3, turn my work, yarn over. That double crochet, just leave it, just go to the next V-stitch and make a V-stitch. All right, chain 1 and go in with another V-stitch. So this is how we are going to work, and make sure your work is straight. All right, this work should be straight on both sides. I hope this is clear, and I'll meet you guys once we reach our hips measurements. All right, but for now it's just normal V stitches. So guys, I've worked, and this is how my work looks. From the top, that is from my shoulder area, up to how I've worked, that is my stomach area, is 16 inches. And now I want to do increases for my work to fit my hips measurements. My cue, you can stretch your work and see if it stretches to your hips measurements, but that is quite tricky. If not, just do increases. So we are going to do increases at the beginning of the row and at the end of the row until your work perfectly fits your hips measurements. My hips measurement is 42 inches, and this is how we do increases. So you chain 3 as usual, and in this first V stitch we are going to go in there with another V stitch like this. So that is the first double crochet that I've put. Then you chain 1. Remember, the first double crochet acts as a V stitch, so 1 double crochet plus 1 is equals to a V stitch. So in short, I'm saying this: put 2 V stitches in the first space. All right, that's it. 2 V stitches in the first space and 2 V stitches in the last space. That is the beginning of the row and in the end of the row. So we're increasing in the beginning and in the end. That means 2 V stitches at the beginning of the row and 2 V stitches at the end of the row. So I will show you again perfectly how we do it at the end of this row. Guys, we're at the end of the row, and please remember we are also increasing at the end, and this is how we do it. As I said, 2 V-stitches at the beginning of the row and at the end of the row. That is our first V-stitch. So yarn over and go in the same space with the second V-stitch like this. Very, very easy, right? So that's how we do increases. That is our first increase. So to the next row, chain 3, turn your work, and please note chain 3 acts as a stitch, and we're also doing an increase. So chain 3 acts as 1 double crochet here. So that means we're only going with the second double crochet to make it a V-stitch like that. All right, so yarn over and then do 1 more V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1 and another double crochet. That's another increase. All right, and we are done with that. Now we continue with the normal pattern, which is V-stitches, and we will increase again at the end of the row. I'm hoping this is clear, and you're going to do increases until it perfectly stretches to your hips measurements, and then we are done. For me, I only did 4 rows of increases. All right. Guys, I'm done with my increases. As you can see, your work becomes wider, and if we measure this is equals to 19 inches, and as I said, my work stretches. So if we stretch this just a little bit, it stretches all the way to 22 inches, actually 24 inches. This can fit any size, medium and also large. Because I am hips measurement size 42, which means it has to stretch up to 21, but my work is 17, but it has a very big stretching capacity. So even size 46 can wear this dress. So after you have hit your hips measurements, please stop increasing your work. So just chain 3. Do not increase normal, just go in with normal V stitches at the beginning of the row and at the end of the row. Do not increase anymore. And please note, chain 3 always acts as a stitch. All right, so from there now we are gonna do normal V stitches until where you want your work to reach. If you want your work to reach on your feet, continued V stitches up to your feet. If you want the same length as mine is on my thighs, perfect, but this is the pattern. So let's meet you once you're done with your work until the length that you want, then that's it. All right, but please not keep measuring your work. If your yarn doesn't have that increasing capacity, make sure you increase until you perfectly fit your hips measurement and give it at maybe an inch more for your work not to be tight. Like, make your work wearable, nice and comfortable, not too tight that you can't breathe. All right. And this is how long I want my work to be. This is the top part and this is the bottom. You can see it should be have that curve and then go straight like that. That is the hips measurement, then it went all the way straight. So now this is how my measurements are. This is 25.5. That is how long I'll love my work to be. And remember, my work has fringes at the bottom. So to make sure your fringes sit well, we have to do the mesh stitch at the bottom here. So now we are working on the mesh stitch. The fringes sits well on the mesh stitch. To make the mesh stitch, kindly chain 4. We'll always begin by chaining 4. Remember, for the V stitches we were chaining 3, but now we are chaining 4. All right, turn your work. Skip the first 2 stitches. On the third, make a double crochet. Very easy. I really love this tutorial. So we've chained 4, yarn over, skip 2 stitches. Skip 1, 2 stitches, and on the third we are gonna make a double crochet like this. So once you make your double crochet after skipping 2, chain 2, yarn over, skip the next 2 stitches. Okay, 1, 2. On the third, go in with a double crochet like this, then chain 2, yarn over, skip 2, 1, 2. On the third, you go in with a double crochet like this, chain 2, 1, 2. Oops. So that is the pattern. You chain 2, skip 2. On the third, go in with a double crochet, and I'll meet you once you're at the end of your work. We're at the end of our work, and I'm just done with my last stitch here, which is a double crochet at the last stitch. You skip 2, that means it will be on top here. Okay, chain 4 to begin a new row. Always 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're working with mesh stitches, you always chain 4. Turn your work around, yarn over. So just go on top of the next double crochet, which is this one, with a double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, go in the next double crochet with a double crochet, sorry, chain 2, go on top of the next double crochet with a double crochet, like that. And that is the pattern. I worked a total of 5 rows, but later I realized it's short, so I added more 5 rows to make it 10. All right, so this depends on the length of the same. If you want your work shorter, just make less rows. You want to work longer, make more rows. It depends with the height you're going for. So make your tape measure your best friend to perfect your measurements. So I will meet you once you're done with your mesh stitches, so we do the next thing. And please note, I haven't shown you how to complete the row. This is my last double crochet here. So to make sure your work is straight, you see this chain 4 that you have been doing, yarn over, go in the second chain. Please, this is how you complete your row. Yarn over, go in this second stitch here and make a mesh stitch. This is how you make sure your work is straight. Go in the second chain and make a double crochet, then you chain 4, turn your work, and then begin the same thing, go in the double crochet that is next. So remember, to complete your row, you go on chain 4, the second chain, and do a double crochet inside there. All right, that's how you make your work straight. I'm done, and this is how my work looks. As I said earlier, I made 5 rows, but I increased again because my work was too short. I had to increase more the mesh stitches. So now let's work on the V on the neckline. To get the perfect neckline, fold your work into 2 like this, and then into another half like this. Okay, now we are working on the neckline. Take your tape measure and you're gonna put it at tape measure, not tape measure. Sorry. Take your stitch markers and put it in the inner fold and also the outer fold like this. Kindly lock your tape measure to sorry, I don't know what I keep saying tape measure. Stitch markers, kindly lock them to avoid them from falling. And this is how your work should look. This is the perfect way and easiest way to get your neck measurements. All right, and now we are gonna make V stitches, just 3 rows of V stitches at the top part on this side and also on this side. Reattach your yarn at the end here, and we are gonna make V stitches. Remember, we're only making 3 rows of V stitches on each side of your dress. Guys, I'm at the stitch marker. I will remove this stitch marker and do my last V stitch on the stitch marker. Then now we will be turning from here. So this is my last V stitch here, and then I will stop here, turn my work, and start the next row of V stitches. Please note, we are now turning at your stitch mark, okay, because we're making the neckline. Don't go all the way. That's why we put the stitch markers, to show you need to turn your work. So chain 3, turn your work, and start again the V stitches. Please note, as I said earlier, we're making 3 rows of the V stitches, and always know the chain 3 acts as a double crochet, so you only go in the first V stitch with 1 double crochet. And we're going to work like this until you have 3 rows, and also the other side will be 3 rows. This is how your work should look like. As you can see, that is the neckline, and then we have the body, and they have the bottom part. So make another panel like this. You need 2 panels. You need a front panel and a back panel. Once you have the both of them together, attach them together like this. Please, they must be of the same length, the same width. Everything should be the same, front panel and back panel. The same way you work the front, the same way you're gonna work the back panel. All right, increase where necessary, and everything should be like this. And we're going now to attach everything together. We're gonna join these front parts using a darning needle or a hook. I love using my hook, so I'm gonna join using single crochet on the sides of my work and the top of my work using single crochets. And I'm using a smaller hook just to make my work easier. So this is how your work should look like. At the end here, always chain one to avoid your work running. Use your scissors to cut off the yarn. Fasten your work well. And now we are gonna join the sides of our work. But please note, we need also to leave the arm area. All right, this is how the inside of your work should look, and the outside should look like this. So we are now going to join this other side the same way we join the other side using single crochets, and both your work should be like this. And now we want to measure our arm area. This arm area is for all sizes. I'm gonna leave a space of 8.5 inches. You can leave up to 9 inches, all sizes. Okay, so my armhole space is 8.5 inches, and that is where we are gonna start joining our work from. So put your stitch marker here so that you remember you don't need to join from the shoulder, but you need to join from here all the way to the bottom. So join your sides using single crochets, and as I said, my armhole area is 8.5 inches, and then we're gonna join our work using single crochets. Okay guys, we are done. As I said, I had to add more inches because my work was so little. I only added inches on the mesh stitch, and now it's 7 inches long. So now we want to put the fringes, and for the fringes you can put any sizes that you want. For me, this is the size I want to put. I don't want them so long. And this is how you insert fringes in your mesh stitches. Remember, we are going in the chain 2 space, and this is how we insert the fringes. So if you want your fringes to be shorter, don't insert in this last row. You can leave 2 rows, but if you want them longer, you can insert from the 2 rows at the bottom. And this is how we're gonna put the fringes all around. It depends also on the volume that you want. You can skip some spaces. For me, I skipped 1 row and then put in the next row. And also just try to play around with your work and see the volume that you want. Alright guys, so this is how we insert the fringes, and yep, this is how we make this beautiful masterpiece. I am hoping you're enjoying this tutorial. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below in case you have any questions. I love you all so much. See you soon in the next tutorial. If you want me to make you this dress, hit me up. I make for you ASAP. All right, bye bye, thank you, see you soon.